Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Cowboys icon reveals bold Ashton Jeanty comparison. The number 12 pick belonging to the Dallas Cowboys in the first round of the NFL has become an intriguing projection for both draft experts and Cowboys Nation alike. Not just because the Cowboys have a number of needs to address in the draft, but also because it seemed to be a lock a few months ago. Before the offseason got into full swing, the Cowboys looked like a surefire landing spot for Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty. The team needed backfield help and Jeanty was sure to provide it. He has campaigned very clearly on his part that he wants to come home to the Star where he played many of his high school's games while attending Lone Star High School in Frisco. While that hype has died down, there are those who are vying for a Jeanty homecoming. Cowboys great and Pro Football Hall of Famer Michael Irvin is among this group and believes Jeanty is the right pick at number 12. Irvin went as far as drawing a comparison to his former teammate, Emmitt Smith, during an appearance on Up and Adams. What I know best is that triplet formation, winning games. When Emmitt Smith came, the difference he made. We had the same offensive line prior to him getting here. But when he got here, all of a sudden they became the best offensive line ever. That's because Emmitt was the best running back ever. You get the chance to get a Jeanty and have that kind of production that he's had, yeah, you take him. Now is Irvin saying that Jeanty is as good as Smith or will reach that caliber? Not necessarily. But the star power quality that Jeanty possesses is undeniably absent from the Cowboys' backfield as currently constructed. Dallas has tried to recreate the Super Bowl winning triplets of their glory days but have fallen short with several iterations. This next one, presumably with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb and Jeanty, would certainly be an interesting one and in part inspired the campaign for Jeanty to begin with. Unfortunately for Jeanty and Irvin, it appears the Cowboys are focused on a different direction and the league has caught on to Jeanty's ability. Dallas may never get the chance to consider picking Jeanty because several teams picking ahead of them are starting to show more interest in the former Bronco. Meanwhile, the Cowboys themselves could explore adding a number 2 wide receiver or a defensive star that drops to them. A Jeanty homecoming is not impossible necessarily, but is growing to be more and more unlikely. Cowboys predicted to add 5-tool, multi-sport athlete in latest NFL mock draft. While there may be no easy fix for the Dallas Cowboys at number 12 of the first round in the 2025 NFL Draft, the NFC East franchise can bolster their offense significantly. The Cowboys ranked just 21st in points scored, averaging 20.6 points per game after leading the league last season at 29.9 ppg. With the addition of Missouri wide receiver Luther Burden III, as predicted by Pro Football Focus Josh Liskiewicz, Dallas gives itself a big-time threat to pair with CeeDee Lamb. Burden is an ideal 5-tool, multi-sport athlete for the receiver position in the NFL, wrote Liskiewicz. The first-round talent is as well-rounded as they come, displaying the ability to succeed at any receiver spot in any offense. Burden caught 61 passes for 676 yards and 6 touchdowns last season after catching 86 passes for 1,212 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2023. In high school, Burden played football and basketball. In 2022, he was a 5-star recruit with nearly 40 college offers. NFL analyst Lance Zierlein compares the 5'11", 208-pound receiver to New York Jets receiver Garrett Wilson. In his combined scouting report, Zierlein writes of Burden, his production against top teams was uneven at times, but so was Missouri's quarterback play. Burden checks several priority boxes that typically foreshadow an impressive NFL career. In Luke Easterling's latest NFL mock draft, he projects Burden at number 34 to the Tennessee Titans. Micah Parsons, we reported last week, has been involved in contract talks with Dallas Cowboys owners Jerry and Stephen Jones and has been involved to such a degree that contract proposals have been discussed, as a source put it to us then. And now comes a second source who confirms that with CowboysCountry.com, along with a feeling of optimism that Parsons will eventually have himself a Cowboys for life deal that both makes him among the highest paid players in NFL history, in the $40 million APY range, and allows the Joneses to feel the deal is somewhat team-friendly. But what about NFL Network countering our report by claiming no meaningful talks have occurred? Chalk that up to matter of semantics. It could be the view of someone involved in the discussions that there is a lack of formality that can be characterized as less than meaningful. For instance, CowboysCountry.com can report that the Cowboys front office has recently met with Parsons face-to-face and discussed a future together. If those discussions are informal in nature, are they therefore not meaningful? Maybe in the eyes of some. But make no mistake, the structure of a deal has been discussed, probably even multiple structures of multiple ideas. And a solution is almost surely on the horizon. And when Parsons signs his massive extension, hopefully, for the sake of the vibe here in the building at the Star and for the sake of Cowboys Nation's psyche, he will become among the highest paid non-quarterbacks in NFL history. The two sides have inarguably moved from preliminary talks, as of 2 weeks ago, per COO Stephen Jones' pronouncement, to a more focused exchange. NFL rumors, 49ers, Cowboys linked to Stefon Diggs. Once Stefon Diggs tore his ACL in Week 8 of the 2024 NFL regular season, his 2025 return got murkier since he was set to hit free agency in the first place. At 31 years old, he's on the tail end of his career, and with a significant knee injury added to his resume, fewer teams could be interested in signing the former All-Pro receiver in free agency. However, Stefon Diggs could find himself with the San Francisco 49ers or Dallas Cowboys later in the 2025 NFL free agency period, per SI's Albert Breer. Therein may lay the key for Stefon Diggs' success this year, with the likelihood that he won't be fully cleared until at least training camp, Breer wrote. The best place for him, it seems, would be with a contender where he wouldn't have to be the guy, which would mitigate potential issues with his desire for the ball and also alleviate the frustration that losing can bring a guy with his sort of makeup. Is that place out there for him? San Francisco would make sense, at the right price. Dallas might, too, with his brother already there. And at this point, those teams would have a pretty good idea of what they're getting, Breer added. He can be mercurial. He can get caught up in his emotions and his numbers. But ultimately, he's actually a really good guy who badly wants to win and works his butt off to do just that. Now, Breer brings up good points. Diggs, 31, likely isn't bringing number one production to a receiver room. That's not to say Diggs is some scrub either, though. But, maybe he shouldn't be the first option in the passing game. And that wouldn't be required of him in San Francisco and Dallas. Well, with the Cowboys, he'd be more of a supplemental piece in the passing game behind CeeDee Lamb. With the 49ers, it still feels like he'd get tasked with being the top guy. Yes, they have Brandon Ayuk, but would the 49ers want to rely on two receivers coming off ACL tears to return in 2025 without issues? That seems risky for a team on the verge of paying Brock Purdy over $60 million annually. Along with losing Ayuk to injury after signing him to a massive contract, the 49ers traded away Deebo Samuel, losing another weapon on offense. So, if one team were to make more sense than the other, it'd be for Stefon Diggs to join the Cowboys over the 49ers in free agency. The Cowboys have the number one receiver, Diggs stays put in Texas, and he'd unite with his brother Trayvon. And you fan? What do you think about Stefon Diggs' situation? Write to us in the comments.